Hi, everyone. So for those that don't know me, my name is Madison, and I'm a member of Youth for Youth, and I live in the United States, in Cleveland and in Pittsburgh. And in April 2020, I started a nonprofit organization called the Global Jewish Pen Pal Program. And the goal of this program is to help people learn more about Jewish life around the world through creating one-on-one interactions and connections with Jews in other countries. And so through this program, I match Jewish individuals with Jewish pen pals around the world, and they can choose to communicate with each other either virtually, so through messages or videos or emails, or they can write traditional handwritten letters to each other. And we currently have over 900 participants in the program from 57 countries, and our pen pals are of all ages. So our youngest pen pal is currently 6 years old and our oldest is 87, but we have a range of pen pals that fall in between. I'm going to share my screen now. Think you can see it, but this is not the right present. This is the website. Here we go. So a little bit about why I started the Global Jewish Pen Pal program. In summer 2018, I spent a few months living in Warsaw, Poland, doing an internship at a Jewish organization in Warsaw. And while I was there, a lot of my friends sent me questions about why I had chosen to go to Poland of all places. When they thought of Poland, they envisioned it as, you can see in these pictures here, they still thought of it as the way it looked in 1945 after the Germans bombed the city to the ground. They thought of concentration camps such as Auschwitz-Birkenau and Auschwitz in Poland. And to them, Poland was a place only of the past. It was a place that was gray and dreary and not a place of modern day Jewish life. And I wanted to find a way to help individuals realize that there is really a lot of Jewish life in Poland today and also in other countries all around the world. And so in order, can you hear me? Okay, I don't know, someone was calling me, so I wasn't sure if they couldn't hear. Sorry. So I wanted to find a way to help people learn that places all around the world that we don't talk about as often are a place that has Jewish life today, and understanding that not everyone could get on a plane and just fly to another country to meet someone. I wanted to find a way for people to have that interaction with others on a firsthand level from their homes. And so when COVID happened, it presented a prime opportunity to connect people and to start the Global Jewish Pen Pal program, because people were feeling socially isolated and yearning for connections. And so what better way than now during a global pandemic to give people someone to talk to, and as a bonus to learn more about Jewish life in other places. This is some pictures of when I think of Jewish Warsaw or Jewish Poland, I picture like the Synagogue, which I was involved with, where I went to services every Shabbat. I think of Hillel Warsaw, where Jewish university students would gather together every week for various activities. And I think of Maccabi Warsaw, where there was a race that I took part in with other Jews in the city. And so while a lot of people think of dark and gray and cemeteries when it comes to Jewish Europe today, this is what I picture when it comes to the revival of Jewish life in Poland. And so in addition to matching individuals with Jewish pen pals in other countries, there are a few other ways that we help to bring Jewish people around the world together, and that we help to educate others about Jewish life around the world. So one is through our social media. We have both an active Facebook page called the Global Jewish Pen Pal Program and an Instagram account. And on both of these pages, we make regular posts about Jewish life around the world. One of the types of posts that we make are, we do a pen pal pair of the month feature. And so we introduce to everyone a pair who has been matched and who's already started communicating with each other, and tell people a little bit about them and where they're from. So here you can see on the left a picture of Alejandro. He's from Guantanamo, Cuba. And on the right, you can see his pen pal, Ben, who's from Birmingham, Alabama in the United States. And we've posted this on social media as just a way for people to learn a little bit more about these individuals and Jewish life in their home cities and about their pen pal with each other. This is another example of a type of post that we make. We feature Jewish food from around the world. Often we give the recipe for the Jewish food so that people can actually go in their kitchen and feel like they're cooking a recipe that comes from another place and learn more about it in that way. And so here we have a feature about Jewish butter cake, which was traditionally served on Shabbat in Dutch Jewish homes. And usually in the link, it includes information on how people can make it on their own. And we ask for others to share pictures when they make it, kind of creating a global Jewish community in this way over social media as well. This is just another example of a global Jewish recipe we shared. This one was a Jewish recipe from Spain and Portugal that is traditionally eaten on Hanukkah. So we also feature certain foods and culture and traditions around Jewish holidays and how they're celebrated in different parts of the world. This is a feature we did on our social media about a synagogue in Budapest, Hungary. So in addition to food, I like to feature various Jewish organizations and synagogues and Jewish youth groups and whatever screams Jewish from other parts of the world to really give people the chance to explore these Jewish institutions without leaving their home and to learn a little bit more about them. So this here is a picture taken inside the Johanni Street Synagogue in Budapest, Hungary, and I gave a little bit of information about the synagogue. And then I asked a teaser question so that people who wanted to engage with our post would be able to respond and have conversations with each other. Since the beginning of this program, that's actually been one way that the program has grown, is we now have a private Facebook group just for members of the Global Jewish Pen Pal program. So in addition to having a public Facebook page, this group allows for more conversations to happen between the different pen pal pairs. They can ask questions to each other, share articles with each other, and it's a more interactive atmosphere for the pen pals to not only know each other, but also to know the other pairs who are part of the organization. This is an example of another type of feature on a Jewish organization. So this was about the Museum of Moroccan Judaism in Casablanca, Morocco. It's the only Jewish museum in all of the Arab Muslim world. And so I gave some information about this museum and I asked an interesting question to see what people thought about the role of Jewish museums today. This is another type of post we put on our social media from time to time, conversation starters of the month. And so this is usually just a topic that we suggest our pen pals can speak about with their pen pals. They have no obligation to talk about it. It's just if they're kind of lacking something to talk about, this is something to stir that conversation. And featured here, so we like to share opportunities from different Jewish organizations, from festivals that happen around the world. So as a partner of the Together Plan, we're always happy to feature the Together Plan's conferences and online events and in-person events. And so this was from 2020 when Zoyman happened online, the online conference. And so we shared this with members of the Global Jewish Pen Pal program to encourage them to come to the conference and to engage with Jews from Belarus and from the UK. We love working with other global Jewish organizations to really build partnerships and to work together to help advertise each other's events. We also have had a radio show called The Pen Pal Perspective. And through this radio show, we actually over Zoom brought on board some of our pen pals to record a radio episode. And so we featured on the left, we had an episode about Jewish life in Italy. And so we brought on to this call some of our pen pals who live in Italy and then their pen pals wherever they lived in the world. And so their pen pals had a chance to ask them questions about Jewish life in Italy today. And then listeners could hear all about Jewish life in Italy. And then on our right, this was an episode that featured Jewish life in New Zealand. And so similar to the Italy one, we had pen pals in our program from New Zealand come on the call with their pen pals wherever they lived in the world. And they had a conversation about what it means to be Jewish in New Zealand today. And all of the recorded episodes of the radio show can be found through our website. About a year ago, in addition to matching pen pals, we also began hosting online Zoom events to connect people to other pen pal pairs in a more interactive way as well. And so these are images from our very first online events. They were Zoom tours of 2 different Jewish communities. We did one tour of Jewish life in Sydney, Australia, with a guide on the ground who is part of the Jewish community in Sydney, Australia, who showed us around the community firsthand. She literally walked us to the beach and she showed us the Jewish deli and she took us around with her. And on the bottom, there's a picture from our tour of Jewish Bulgaria with a guide from Bulgaria who was showing us in this image a picture of the opening of the first Jewish day school in Bulgaria since World War II. These are just some pictures of participants in our program from some of our online events. This year so far, we did a challah bake online during the Shabbat Project weekend. And so we had a speaker from a nonprofit organization called Challah for Hunger, which is based in the United States, who came and talked to us about their initiative and about baking challah and donating the proceeds to those who are hungry. And at the same time, we had a guest challah baking instructor from London/Israel who gave us step-by-step instructions, and people actually made challah together over Zoom. We also did a event on the Global Day of Jewish Learning in November. So we brought 5 of the pen pals in our program from 5 different global Jewish communities onto our call, and they each gave a short presentation about Jewish life in their city, and they gave a talk about it and they answered questions about it. So we featured pen pals from Turkey, Russia, India, blanking on the other ones right now, but there were 5 different countries there. And so people had the chance to hear an assortment of talks about Jewish life in different countries, and then right then and there, ask them any questions that came to mind. We also did a Hanukkah party this year online on Zoom, where we did a quiz about Hanukkah traditions in other countries. We did a craft together, and we did a trivia game together. And so the events that we have, they vary, and we host them usually about every other month on Zoom. They're open to not just the pen pals in our program, but also to community members who want to learn about global Jewish life or who want to meet other Jews from countries around the world, celebrate a holiday with Jews from around the world, really with this goal of bringing Jewish people together and helping us to see what we have in common and also what is different between us that we can learn from each other. These 2 pictures here, so they're really special stories because in September of 2021, the picture on the left I received from 2 of the global Jewish pen pals, Dina from New Jersey in the United States and Camila from Chile. And this pen pal pair met through the Global Jewish Pen Pal program. They were matched a year and a half ago through our program, and they've been video calling each other every Sunday since they were matched. And for Rosh Hashanah this year, Camila came to New York City, and the 2 met in person for the first time. And similarly, just a few weeks ago, I received this photo on the right of 2 other pen pals in our program. On the left is Sylvania from Argentina, and on the right is Megan from Virginia in the United States. And they were able to get together a few weeks ago. They had planned for months a visit, and they met each other in person in the United States. And Megan was telling me how excited she was to meet her pen pal who she'd been writing letters with in person, and they got along so well and spent a little bit longer than a weekend together. So really, these are special international Jewish friendships that are forming online or through the mail, but are blossoming into something much bigger. And the fact that pen pals from the Global Jewish Pen Pal program have started to meet each other in person really shows the interest that we have in building these global Jewish connections and continuing to grow them moving forward. So there's no cost to being part of the Global Jewish Pen Pal program. It's a completely free program to be part of. You can sign up if you're interested through our website. There's a sign up form if you want to be matched with a Jewish pen pal in another country. If you want to learn about our events, that's also on our website. In addition to all of, so this is something that at one of our events, we asked our pen pals what is one thing they've learned from their Jewish pen pal. And the responses we got were very diverse and very interesting. Some people shared about Jewish topics. So they've learned more about what it means to be an Ashkenazi Jew. They've learned about different communities. Some people shared just traditional everyday parts of life. So they learned more about the education system in England, or they share the same hopes and fears. We have a pair in our program who have actually improved their language skills through communicating with each other. So currently everyone we match in our program must speak English or be okay communicating in English, but we matched someone who is from the United States with someone who's from Luxembourg, and they realized that they both knew some German, and they started writing letters back and forth to each other in the German language. And from that, one of the pen pals told us that she's actually improved her knowledge of this language through her pen pal interaction. So there's like a lot of different things that people have learned throughout the program. And then, I unshared my screen. So we have a website. It's globaljewishpenpalprogram.com. I want to show you a few things on it if I can get to it. So this is what the page looks like when you enter our website. And if you're interested in getting our newsletter, which we send out periodically, you can subscribe to our listserv at the bottom of the homepage on our website. In addition to that, we also have a blog, and we feature not just pen pals in the Global Jewish Pen Pal program, but also anyone who has a Jewish story to share from around the world. So we've had all kinds of different topics on our blog. And the idea is we really want to share your stories. We want to be an outlet for connecting Jews around the world and providing a perspective that others might not know about from before. So if you're interested in ever writing for our blog, that's something else, another way to get involved. Even if you are not matched to the pen pal, we're open to all types of stories. The get involved section is where you can find the form to sign up and be matched with a pen pal if that is something that interests you. This is a picture from a Purim event that we had online with our pen pals, where everyone came dressed up in different costumes and we made Purim masks together. So I would love it if you wanted to follow us on social media, on our Facebook page, our Instagram account. We're always looking for more international members to become participants in the Global Jewish Pen Pal program. And it's my belief that together we can really help to connect the Jewish world a little bit more through this organization. And so I'd be happy to answer any questions if there's any questions that anyone has.
I have a question. First of all, I want to say it's really good what you're doing, Madison. I think it's brilliant. So just to congratulate you. I wanted to ask you, how do you go around safeguarding? So if you're trying to, you're matching people, particularly young people, how do you work out whether people are okay to be matched with each other?
Yeah, so that's definitely an important question. We have a few different safety measurements in place. So one of them is on our sign up form, we ask people to write specifically where they learned about the Global Jewish Pen Pal program. And if we don't recognize like the name of the person or the place or the organization where they learned about our program, then we'll reach out to them directly to get more information, or we'll ask them for someone to talk to who knows them to get more information about this person. So that's one component. On the other hand, or another component is there's no requirement to share your last name if you don't want to. So people can choose to sign up with just their first name and never give their last name, if they just want to be matched with their first names. We never have any private information on our side besides email addresses. Anyone who wants to communicate via handwritten letters, we still only match them via email, and then they can choose if they want to pass on their physical mailing address or not. With younger kids, we often match the parents of the kids, and then they have a conversation with each other before putting their kids in touch with each other. So we'll send the match to the two parents. They'll let their kids know once they've spoken to each other, hey, like you got a match, and now you can start communicating. So we're also very flexible and open to starting other measures that make people feel comfortable being matched with pen pals as well.
Got it. And do people get a chance to say, I'd like a pen pal in Guatemala, or you put them together? Do you get a say?
So we do get requests from time to time. At the moment, our three main matching criteria is that we match people who are around the same age as each other. We match people who are from 2 different countries as each other, and we match people who've signed up for the same method of communication. So whether they wanted a virtual pen pal or handwritten letters, we make sure they get someone who signed up for that same way of communicating. But besides for that, our mission is really to help people learn about Jewish life around the world, wherever it is, whatever form it's in. So we don't usually accept requests for now. It's usually we want to match you with someone that like could come from a part of the world you never knew Jews lived in, and you might learn something you have in common with them, or might learn that there's something you can gain for your own Judaism or Jewish practice from being in touch with someone different.
Really interesting. Really interesting. And sorry, I'll keep asking all the questions. I don't know if anybody else has got asked other questions, but I think it's fascinating. But so do you then keep a track of whether people are still communicating, or is it once they've been connected, you let them get on with it?
Yeah, so we send out newsletters to those who are pen pals in our program, and I follow up with the matched pen pals. Usually I follow up once or twice a few months after they've been matched. And at that point, I give them the option to continue to get our newsletters and to continue to be invited to our events. And if they decide that they just want to go off on their own and talk to their pen pal, that's fine. We've still accomplished our goal, which is to connect Jews from around the world. But most of the people in the organization choose to still receive information from us. And I've made personal connections with many of the pen pals in the program just through emailing them and video calling to set up matches for them. So I definitely stay in touch and follow up with the pen pals once they've been matched, but the level of involvement just varies between the people.
Okay, got it. Okay, very interesting. Anybody else got any other questions? Is anyone there? Switch your cameras on, people. Ah. Okay. There you go. That's friendlier. It's very good. So do you have many people in the former Soviet Union?
We do. I can look what the exact number is if you can give me a minute. But we do have a lot of people, not as many from Belarus. We have a ton from Russia. Do have some from Belarus though.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, I'm looking for the numbers.
That's all right. Yeah, I mean, I'm honestly just curious how many. I came in late. I'm sorry. Maybe you already said it, but how many people are in the program at the moment? I know people drop in and out, but yeah. How many?
There are over 900 people who've been matched with pen pals from 57 countries.
Wow, that's amazing.
And I'm looking at the numbers right now. So we only have one person currently from Belarus, actually. From Russia, we have 21 people. And then we have people from like other parts of the former Soviet Union as well. But we're definitely always looking to grow and spread our reach.
Well, interesting. Where in Belarus is the person that you've got there?
Minsk.
Interesting. Okay, that's really interesting. And they find you on Facebook, do they?
Well, this individual is part of the Together plan. He found me through the talk I gave for Youth a bit last year, I think it was. But people find about this organization through word of mouth, through Facebook, through Instagram, and then also I reach out and I have a leadership team who helps me with outreach to various synagogues and Jewish newspapers and Jewish organizations in different countries.
Very interesting. And you said that the youngest is 6 and the oldest is 87.
Yes, right now.
It's brilliant. It's amazing. That's so cool.
Thank you.
And I like the way you do the cookery piece as well. I like so how does that come about? Do you prompt that, or did that sort of self-perpetuate? How did that come about?
So I'm really interested in Jewish food from around the world, and I think that food is something everyone can connect to, whether you're religious, not religious. Food is just something people like. And so I figured, why not give people a hands-on way to try out a Jewish something from another part of the world, to get in their kitchen and actually cook and connect to their ancestors maybe, or connect to their pen pal that they meet by making something from their country. And so I started researching various recipes and sharing them through the Global Jewish Pen Pal program. I am also starting a new initiative for the Global Jewish Pen Pal program coming up in the next few months. We're going to be starting to feature various Jewish books and Jewish cookbooks on our website and our social media. We will be featuring one at a time and introducing them. And so part of that process, I will be making some more recipes from some of the cookbooks that people have donated to us, and sharing those recipes and their stories with people in our program as well.
Okay, if you find anybody who's got Belarusian recipes, we're looking for those, so you can collaborate with us there.
Definitely.
We're trying to find Belarusian stories and recipes, so absolutely, that's very interesting. So we could do a bit of cross-pollinating there, I think. Yeah, definitely.
There's a lot of people who find a connection into the Jewish world from different ways. So synagogue is not necessarily the entrance point, of course, for many people. And so food is one way I have found that people get excited to learn about their Jewish culture and their Jewish heritage. And one of the stories that I meant to share in this presentation was about a 14-year-old boy from Serbia who sent us a message back in the beginning of this organization. He had discovered the Global Jewish Pen Pal program, and he was beyond excited for the chance to connect with Jews around the world. And in his own words, he actually said, "I'm unbelievably pleased by this opportunity. I am a Jew, but I don't have the opportunity to practice my faith. So I see this like a great chance. I'd need to hide my faith from my parents, so I celebrate quietly, but this is an amazing way to practice Judaism, and I am looking forward to it." So that story really exemplifies one of the reasons why I started the Global Jewish Pen Pal program. This boy felt isolated from Judaism, and now he has some small connection, and that's just one of the many different types of connections and powerful stories that I've heard through this organization.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you start it yourself, Madison, or did you do it with someone else?
Yeah, I started it myself.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's really good. It's really good. Okay. I think this has been really, really interesting, because it's been a real opportunity to understand it better, so we can tell more people about it. I think it's important that we understand it better. I'm really pleased Elaine's on as well. I think we need to tell other people about it. I think you make a very strong point that people are very isolated around the world, and they need to have that opportunity to connect. And I think you've done a great job. Really, it's fantastic. Anybody else to ask?
Yeah, brilliant idea, fantastic. Well done, Madison. Fantastic.
Thank you.
Yeah. Do you find that people are writing, handwriting, or emailing? That's really interesting.
It's so funny. That's actually a question I get a lot. I think people expect me to say that there aren't people like doing handwritten letters, but it's pretty even. About half of our participants are sending letters to each other in the mail. People like that excitement of opening up their mail and getting a letter from someone. And then half of our participants are communicating virtually. And then some of our participants are doing a combination. So they'll send letters to each other in the mail, but because it takes a while to get that letter in the mail, in between, they'll have a video call with each other, or they'll send text messages back and forth. We've had a few pen pals, and we have a pen pal in Moscow. She's paired with a girl in upstate New York in the United States, and the two of them send each other packages on their birthdays and on Hanukkah, and it's very cute because they get very excited when they open up their mail and they have this package of goodies from another country that their pen pal sent them. And so there are lots of people who are writing letters to each other, but there's just lots of people talking in different ways.
I think that's a very good point. I think, you know, I'm really interested to hear you say that, because so many people rely on email now, and so few people write a letter, but people really like writing a letter or receiving it. And it's something that, if you're keeping that alive, I think that's really powerful. It's really good.
I think because we spend so much time on our computers and our screens these days, that having an excuse to write a letter or to be creative with, like, coloring a picture if they're a younger kid and sending it to someone, it's just kind of been like an opportunity for people to do something a little bit different, and that's been exciting for individuals.
Yeah, no, I think that's a very, very good point. Very good point. It's amazing. I think it's great. I think we should all make sure we give you a like and a comment on Facebook. I think that's really important. Are you on Instagram as well? You are, aren't you?
Yeah, we're on Instagram. On Instagram, it's Global Jewish Pen Pals, but I can also, I'll share my screen again. I have a page that says all the information.
I'm just looking it up now.
So yeah, this is the website, email, Facebook, and Instagram account.
Yeah.
Sorry, did not mean to share that.
Yeah, I'm on it. Got it. It's really good. It's really important what you're doing.
Thank you. And I'm very grateful to have the Together Plan as a partner and to be able to share it with the Together Plans community as well. So that's definitely something that has been nice, and it's been great to, as I've grown involved with Youth for Youth, also to share this with more Youth for Youth members and have that collaboration.
Yeah, absolutely. Just one more question from me.
Can I quickly just say something?
Yeah.
I had to jump in the car to go and pick someone up, but I'd be listening the whole time. I just wanted to say that, Madison, you are literally like a shining light for Youth for Youth, because what you are doing is so pioneering and so incredible. And it could be really amazing to maybe find a way that we could collaborate with Global Jewish Pen Pal Program and Youth for Youth, and get our Youth for Youth members sending letters to people across the world, or even to each other, because, you know, I think that is such a dying art. I've recently got into sending my friends from uni handwritten letters rather than messaging them. And it's such a wonderful thing. So I just commend you massively on what you're doing. And I think you're amazing.
Thank you so much. That is so kind of you. I am definitely open to finding more ways to collaborate.
For sure. We'll chat about it.
Sounds good.
Thanks, Abby.
Okay, you can carry on, Deborah.
Drive carefully.
Thank you.
What happens if somebody gets in touch with you and says, I'm not Jewish, but I'd really like to have a pen pal?
So at the moment, we're only matching those who identify as being Jewish. Now, that can be on a broad spectrum. As long as they say they identify as being Jewish, we will match them with a pen pal. So there's not like a certain level of practice or religiosity that's required. If someone reaches out to us, which definitely has happened a number of times, and tells us that they're not Jewish, but are interested in learning more about Judaism or meeting other Jews, we encourage them to follow us on social media and to potentially write for our blog. So we're open to getting non-Jewish individuals involved in other ways to do more of the educational components. But the actual matching for now is a way to grow connections within the Jewish community itself.
Okay. And so how do you also, do you match people age to age? So, or do you have young people writing to older people? How does that work?
Yeah, no, everyone we match with someone around the same age as them. We usually try to stick no more than like 2 to 3 years of an age difference. And especially for like young kids, we really stay with the same age. If it's someone in their 50s, we are okay stretching it to like matching a 50-year-old with a 55-year-old, but we stay around the same age.
Okay. Very, very interesting. People, you should consider getting a pen pal.
Yes.
I have to go because I've now reached my destination. But Madison, thank you so much, and I'd love to talk more about it.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
That's okay. Thank you so much.
Bye, Abigail. No, it's all right. We're coming to the end of our hour anyway. Sadly, we lost Sasha in Polotsk, but I think we'll send her the recording. It's quite late in Belarus, but I think I think this has been brilliant because we now have a greater understanding of it. It's really important that we get this overview of it. I think it's fantastic and it's got lots and lots of opportunities, and I think you and Abigail should definitely talk. There's lots of potential in that, and I think we need to try and get some more in Belarus. It's very interesting that you've got 20 in Russia and only 1 in Belarus that came through the Together plan. I know that sending physical letters to Belarus is always a little bit hit and miss. So that's something that we would have to address, but you know, there are other ways, as we know, but it's needed, and it's definitely something we should explore more of. So I'll talk to Abigail about that. I think it's but you know we're connecting more and more people, as we know, around the world anyway, particularly through our archive services. So it's that's another way we can connect people to what you're doing. And again, if we can kind of cross-pollinate around the sort of search for recipes and stories as well, then that's a really interesting area that we can we can cross and help do the research. So I think that's a bigger conversation that we can have. So unless anybody else has got any other questions, I just, anyone else out there? Any more comments, questions?
Just want to say thank you, Madison.
Thank you.
Thank you. It was really interesting. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for coming.
Thanks, Madison. It's really, really great. I don't know whether Ellen is there, but hello, Ellen. And
that's my mom.
Oh, right. Oh, Ellen. Well, she's great. You should be proud. Yeah, Madison's fantastic. Really, I think it's fantastic. And as I understand, you're welcome. Now I understand more about it, then I will. I think we should talk about giving this a bigger platform. It's fantastic. So I just want to say thank you for doing this talk. It's fascinating, absolutely fascinating, and you're achieving some fantastic stuff, and your energy is just inspiring. I love it. Don't lose it.
Thank you for having me.
That's all right. Take care. Stay safe out there. Bye for now.
Bye.